Today in the crypto space, we see the market still dripping to lower levels. Bitcoin right around $108,600, down approximately 2.5%. Ethereum still hovering right below the $4,000 mark. 3,900 it is for Ethereum. The rest of the crypto space, the altcoins, some dips to be had. MNT coming down, thinking about buying the dip on Athena, CRO, and Tau, and many others. In today's video, I want to talk about the general market. I want to use Bitcoin as a leading indicator, but I do want to focus on Bitcoin today because ultimately, if Bitcoin continues showing weakness, guys, the red will continue. So you know what? Let's talk about the news. Let's analyze the charts and let's strategize to capitalize. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mike, and let's get right into it, guys. If you're new to the channel, welcome. On the channel, we talk about cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all the altcoins. Looking for opportunity, whether we go up or down, bearish or bullish, it doesn't matter. All we want to do is stay one step ahead of the market so that we can capitalize on any of the volatility. And if you appreciate the strategy, subscribe to the channel, click the bell so you don't miss out on any of my future videos, including the live streams at 8 p.m. EST, where we talk about crypto news and price action. Guys, if you have any projects you want me to cover here on the channel, feel free to let me know in the comment section below. You can hit me up on the socials. The links are in the description. Better yet, guys, join the Discord. The Discord is where it's at. Lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, and learning material. The best part is it's absolutely free. All right, guys, let's begin. Let's see what we got here because we can see the sentiment in the market coming down with the price. As you can see, Bitcoin market cap pretty much down, to $3.7 trillion, more or less. Down another 2% for today. Slow bleed to the downside, guys. Slowly dripping and dripping and dripping. Dropping below $4 trillion wasn't really good. Hesitating right around that level wasn't really good. And now clearly we're in a bit of a free fall here, dropping to lower levels. And as usual, guys, I don't appreciate the volume. I don't appreciate the market participation that is enjoying this dip and getting behind this dip and obviously creating that sell pressure. Now, what can we say here, guys? Ultimately, the structure is still bullish. And no matter what people say, guys, be very careful with all the bears out there. Right now, they're grave dancing. They're a little bit too early, but I'll tell you this. We're at critical, super critical levels. At levels of which, guys, at any moment now, we could cascade. It is a breakdown level. But at breakdown levels, the same way with breakout levels, you're expecting to break down from local bottoms. Local bottoms are usually support. Now, I'm not going to say that Bitcoin's at support and we're going to get a bounce. I'm not saying that. But I will tell you this. Risk to reward ratios at these levels are at their best, right at horizontal levels where stop losses can be placed. So, as I mentioned, Bitcoin is at critical levels. If it falls through its current price, which we'll talk about, obviously today I want to talk about Bitcoin, focusing on Bitcoin today. If it breaks below those levels, we can see a bigger cascade throughout the market. And of course, the altcoins will take a spanking. At the current moment, guys, we got to be very, very careful here because it is critical. As you can see, today we got a bit of a sell-off, another small one. You can see 2.8% for Bitcoin, another 2.6% for Ethereum. You can see this rollover here, this 1 hour fractal, not looking the greatest. Every day we're slowly looking lower and lower, dripping down 2%, 3% a day. This is like pretty much the third day in a row after the sell-off, the major, crash that we got, that we've been dripping down 3% a day, more or less on average. So there's nothing more for me to say here, guys. Look at the last 7 days. In fact, even on a larger scale, maybe the last 2 weeks, maybe the last month, you will notice that a lot of projects are in double-digit dips, big time, 30, 40, 50%, depending on the altcoin that you're looking at. So the question is that, what do we do here? Do we buy the dip? And a lot of the questions that I get amongst the community is, Mike, what are you buying? Are you buying? Are you getting into leverage? What's going on? What are you doing? How are you coping? This and that. Guys, at the end of the day, for me, it's all about risk management. And risk management at its best, first of all, the first layer of risk management for all traders should be, am I trading spot or am I trading with leverage right now? That's the biggest idea. And why? Because spot obviously has its level of safety, which is no liquidation. Obviously, spot could definitely put you underwater. There's no safety on that fact. But obviously, getting into the red on spot is not good because you'll be trapped up in positions that might have to hold. You never know, multi-cycle. But ultimately, guys, ultimately, this is where I'm at. If I'm taking risk right now, I'm focusing on large caps and I'm focusing on slowly peppering in capital and buying the dip. I feel like I've done this before in events like this. I feel like a brainless DCA, systematic DCA is the best way. Just get in. If it's once a week, if it's level to level, whatever it is your strategy would be, DCAing on spot is the best way to do it right now, because reality is Bitcoin is showing still a bit of weakness, or to be honest, a lot of weakness. It just didn't break below critical levels, but has been showing weakness. And Ethereum at the end of the day will continue to get a spanking if Bitcoin keeps on coming down. That's the truth. So we got to accept that. Now again, slowly peppering in capital is the best way. Don't go all in here, guys. Find your top projects. As you can see, there's fire sales everywhere. Mantle is one that is on my list. I wouldn't mind scaling into this guy. Mantle, obviously, the Bybit project, layer 2, this and that, it should be really good. If BNB comes down, maybe we'll see some people scale into Mantle, which would be quite interesting to see. It's at a 27% discount. Mind you, I did buy the bottom, pretty good entry on that wick that we fell down the other day on Friday. So my positions are still very good, but I am looking to keep on accumulating on a Mantle. I was waiting for an entry on Mantle for a good while. And again, look at the rest of the space, looking a little sloppy, but there's dips everywhere, guys. Aster down 23%, 8% just today. Guys, these are opportunities. You were bullish on Aster a couple of weeks ago, weren't you? And now all of a sudden, we got a few unlocks on Aster, and all of a sudden it's down almost 10% for one day. It's the opportunity that you've been looking for, guys. It's that most of us won't execute. That's the problem. We won't execute. And like I said, it doesn't mean that I'm super bullish right now. It just means like this is a good deal. This is a good sale. Buy some. You don't have to go all in. Just buy a little bit. Start building that little nest egg, that little, those bags. Start filling up those bags bit by bit. And as we get confirmations of proof of life, especially from Ethereum, guys, we will be slamming some buy orders and packing those bags nice and tight. Because again, guys, bearishness does get responded to eventually. It's not always bearish and it's not always bullish, right? We've been bearish for a bit now. It's time for a bullish response. It's time for a nice move. Okay, so prepare. We got pumped up fund coming down pretty hard here, 10%, and that pretty much concludes the general market today. It's a bit of a dip. All right, guys, today I want to talk about Bitcoin. But as you guys know, I look at charts for sure, but I also like seeing what the various projects that I cover here on the channel to see what they're doing on social. So let's go see what's really trending here on Bitcoin on X. What are people talking about? Well, you can see that generally speaking, we do see. Let me just kind of like make this a little bit more hospitable for viewers' sake. There we go. Maybe that's a little bit better. As you can see, we have this chart right here is quite interesting, because basically what it's saying is, you remember 2018? If you don't or you do, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, in 2018, around October, we were down approximately 4%. Which statistically speaking, Octobers are generally good. As you can see, the rest of the Octobers of the year, of the multiple years that are listed here, are usually nice and green. It is what it is, right? That's data, it's fact. It's not, hopium or anything. But at the end of the day, this October seems to be pretty red as well, as it was in 2018. I want to move on forward and look at the previous 2018s. Since then, we've been doing very, very well. Now, what does this mean, guys? That we got to wait until next year, October, to start to see some green? No, what it means is that October leading into November, we could start to see some green. It could be possible. It could be possible that this was the one red month of October that we've never really, expected, and all of a sudden we go green, right? It could be, guys. It is what it is, right? It happened here, and it could be happening here again on this October. The problem is how many more months do we got to wait here, guys, to actually get some green, okay? So Look at the last October's right here. We're pretty good, as you can see. Not bad. I'll take that any day. All right, let's continue going down. Let's see what do we got. We got Binance back here, selling a bit of Bitcoin and a bit of Ethereum here. Pure exchange manipulation. Again, I don't know how valid a lot of these claims are. Obviously, the data is here. Please do your due diligence and confirm all this data. But we do know that Binance and many influential exchanges do partake in such behaviors. Unfortunately, it is the case. What else do we got? Whale has opened a $28 million ETH position, 26 million long on Bitcoin. Is it time for them to get liquidated, or does that give us a signal that there's some big whales coming in? A few days ago, he made 5 million by going short. What does he know? Does he know something? This is obviously a possible signal. It could be, guys. When we see whale accumulation, we have been seeing institutional accumulation. Hands down, it's a fact. Okay, but at the end of the day, is that enough? I don't know. More insider information. New insider whale has closed his shorts, and we talked about that already. A few limit orders there. What's going on with this dude, the Orange Man himself? Florida just filed to create a strategic Bitcoin reserve to invest 10% of public funds in Bitcoin. Here we go. I don't even know why he's doing here, but that's good. It's good to see Florida, and pretty much this is going to be us, guys. This is how I feel right now, no doubt. And then what's this? Trump to make an announcement at 3 p.m. What is he yapping about today? Is how old is it? 8 o'clock, 8 hours ago. So yeah, maybe that already happened, or it's around the corner, or who knows. But I'm wondering what's going on there. Again, Florida, and a few bullish posts, of course, guys. There's gonna be a lot of people here on socials trying to prop up the market with some posts. As you can see, that we've been seeing Bitcoin look a little trashy in the last little while. And if you've been following me on the Discord, this morning I made a post. And you know what? This individual, Crypto Wizard, it seems like it is the exact same, he actually found a fractal. And I wanted to do this today, but guys, I've been doing the Aptos deep dive. But nonetheless, he found a fractal that represents exactly what could be happening. And this is exactly what I was saying this morning on the Discord. Guys, if I have the time, I want to find a recovery after a retracement that ended up with an aggressive recovery. And this is a retracement that I saw, and this is the retracement that could be potentially in the works currently at the moment. And if you look at the chart in the Bitcoin chart, which we'll look at in a second, you'll see that it does look like this impulsive move and retracement. And then all of a sudden we get that recovery. Everybody's really, really bearish. This was the capitulation. These are the wicks. These are the wicks that cause all that pain. And then bang, and then we start moving to the upside. Is this possible that we're in a similar predicament at this current moment? And that's what was going through my mind during this whole sideways, painful consolidation that we've been in for the last little while. Is there an event in the previous cycles that was very similar? Guys, it's right here. I don't have to do the research. This dude did it. So that's that, guys. At the end of the day, this is what we have to be looking for. All kinds of opportunities. Of course, there's bears, there's bulls, there's everybody. Keep neutral, guys. DCA slowly, spot only. Don't go anything crazy. Don't be risking capital that you're not willing to lose. Just be smart about it. All right, guys. So I know you're here to talk about price action. Let's begin. Let's see what's going on Bitcoin chart. At the end of the day, guys, Bitcoin is at such critical levels that if it breaks below, I'm going to try to give you a little bit of accuracy here, 107,500, give or take. Guys, if it breaks below there, things are looking hectic. Let's take a look at this in a little bit more detail. Now, it's not about precision. At the end of the day, it's not about precision, but I'll tell you this, guys, it's not a good thing to see Bitcoin hesitating this badly, especially at the bottom of the range, especially, that we're getting a little bit of that volume down here. Not a good look, definitely not. And I know the bears are out there full force right now. I get it. I respect that, right? Because they're obviously team bear at the current moment. And a lot of the bears get minted during these events, these, black swan events. Why? Because they're bitter. They took a huge loss, and the reality is they think that maybe the industry, because they want to see the rest of the industry come down with them. That's usually the sentiment. But again, I do sympathize with those individuals because I myself took a pretty decent loss. At the end of the day, guys, I'm a trader, so we fight our way back, right? especially our trading accounts for that matter. We shouldn't be gambling with all our assets. That's not what we do, right? We trade with our trading portfolio. That's what it's meant for. Now, what I'm trying to say here is, as I'm speaking, I'm trying to clean this up. And reality is that I feel like I need to zoom out. I feel like I need to go on the 4-day and just focus on market structure. Guys, there's nothing on this chart that is telling me that we are not making higher highs and higher lows still. Okay, I want to be real about this. There's a couple things to consider. High, higher low, higher high. Is there a low that is lower than this low? Okay, hopefully you know the end. That's a rhetorical question, obviously. There is no low lower than this low. So based on this, we are still in an uptrend, whether we like it or not. If we are seeing some momentum rollover here, it's because we're looking at oscillators and we're using market sentiment, which is not the greatest indication of anything, to be honest, because market sentiment can be induced by wicks and sell-offs and black swan events and other things. Now, it might sound bullish here. Take it as you please, but that's the fact. Okay. Now, what I don't like and why I'm calling this to be a very critical moment is because if we start breaking below this bottom, and I like this 4-day structure here, if we start breaking below where we are right now, literally where we are right now, there's no doubt in my mind that we're going to be coming to test the next big order block, which is right around the 100,000, 97,000 and change, right around here. That is a very good level to expect support. It's particularly this wick down here, that was the last level that we got an impulse. We could definitely come down there and test that zone once again and come down to point of control. Now, in the meantime, the bigger question is, how long is that going to take? Could we come up for another dead cat bounce? Is that possible? Sure, why not? Let's do it. Maybe that's the case. Maybe this is the bottom. I'm not going to talk about bullishness just yet. Let's stick with the bearish. Let's entertain the bears for a second. Now, from the bearish concept, we do come down, right? This is, again, the very critical zone. We need to hold this desperately. If we don't, we're coming down to the 200 daily. If we don't, we're coming to test this bottom. If we don't, we're coming to hunt liquidity where it matters most, which is usually the biggest order block down here. This is where the max pain level is, right into here. People that went long into this level. People that went long into this level. People that put stop losses here and stop losses here. That's where the market makers, that's where the influential individuals, the real influencers of this market, of the capital markets, are going to come and hunt liquidity. Okay, so that's where I'm totally on board. I understand that is very possible. However, if we do break down with volume and intent, guys, that's what's going to happen. Right now, the volume is not even that high. Let's be real. Let's be real. This was better and it was bullish. Okay, this was better and it was bullish. The bearish response, okay, was mid, still good, but not as strong as the bullish. Then we went a little bit soft here, and then I'm curious as to what's going to end up happening here if we're going to come down lower. For me, I am no longer buying any more spot positions. For now, right? The last one that I bought was MNT and a couple of others, but I bought those through the crash on Friday, and after that, I am now holding steady. And the reason being is that I want to make sure that I have fat bags of capital if Bitcoin comes down to this level right around here. I would say at around $99,000 to $100,000 right into this level. I would like to see the reaction that happens there, and I would be slamming some buy orders. If not, I need market structure to prove to me that we're done dipping, at least on the 4-hour, at minimum. Okay, that's the biggest condition that I have right now, because at the moment it's not really showing me much other than risk to reward. Okay, so let's quickly get back onto the daily, because the 4-hour did a great job consolidating noise, which is awesome. And you can see that this is the level. Nice bottoms, nice bottoms. Is this the double bottom? Is this the risk to reward that we're looking for? Is the 200 EMA going to act as support? This is why today I put in this yellow box, because I'm like, guys, anywhere around this zone, this is the risk to reward ratio. Stop loss underneath here and walk away. Stop loss underneath here, walk away. If it breaks below, guys, we're coming down, go short. The next level to watch out for, like I said, is right around the 100,000 to about 98,000. This level right into here. So what do? Bearish, right? Right? But what about the bullish scenario? Okay, let's quickly look at oscillators. Chop zone material everywhere. Okay, volatility up and down, up and down. Where's volatility right now? Let's just quickly address this, and let's make this a bit smaller for now, and let's just put this into the field of view so we can actually see each time what happened to the volatility line, what happened to price. Okay, so here we were down here, price went up, beautiful, momentum went up, nice. Momentum right now is pretty crap because it was stuck in the chop zone all throughout this. Then we went up. After this, fine, we went up here, and then we came down. Higher low, by the way. Then bulls got in control again, went up. Higher high. Bulls are in control. Then we come down. Volatility comes down. We're down here. This is where we are. Unfortunately, lower than this one. And at the current moment, not lower than this one. Pretty much double bottom, slightly higher. The day's not over, guys. We have approximately 4.5 hours till the daily close, and we can see how that behaves right on the 200 EMA. I'm expecting Asia to come in hot with some of this. Either they're going to keep on dumping with fear, or they're going to be buying up this dip and maybe continuing the range. The reality is the range is still intact, guys, because we did not break a lower low, right? We're still here. We can break back up and still respect the range. This is the top of the range. In fact, this is also the top of the range. We can still come back to 122,000. I'm slowly getting bullish. As you can see, my thesis now, based on what I'm seeing here, is that the risk to reward ratio to go long is lucrative. Going long here, stop loss under here, means that you can just trade the range and get a nice move to the upside from here to here, more or less. Or let's be modest, from here to here. That's an 11% move on Bitcoin, excluding these tops. Okay, that's not bad just by trading the range, right? If you believe that the volatility is finally going to go for another bullish response. It could be possible, guys. I showed it to you. Volatility comes down. That's where usually we get a bullish response to the upside. Okay, let's just quickly look at momentum a second, because that's the one that's really not firing off major signals. The only thing that I can say is that it got slightly overbought, came back down to the previous low, as it has done many, many times. And if it does get another bounce here, there's no doubt on my mind on the next bullish response with volatility, we're going to get overbought in a bigger way. Look at this momentum, how weak it is in comparison to that one. Look, we're starting to build a few green ones. Build them slowly before they become big. And that's where you get the bigger expansions to the upside. So I feel like, yes, there is still possibility for a great risk to reward trade for the range, and maybe the break of the highs for a breakout, for a break of structure, because like I showed you guys, this is still sideways price action. There is no lower low yet confirmed here on this sideways channel. There is none. It is what it is. It's not like I'm making up the numbers. After I'm finished this video, we could produce a lower low. Things change, things get more bearish there. Enter your shorts, get ready, take profit, do what you got to do. Because if it breaks below with volume and conviction, guys, we're coming down. But at the current moment, there's no doubt in my mind that the risk to reward with a nice stop loss below to go long and expecting a range high rejection is still valid. What about a breakout is also still valid. Okay, so keeping that in mind as well. Now, from a bearish perspective, we also see that the trend oscillator looks like absolute garbage. Let me clean this up a little bit because I know I'm a bit of a disaster. You can see right here, EMA is facing down, red histogram bars, blue expansion. We've seen this before a couple of times. I just want to address the fact that this is still in an uptrend. Okay, this expansion was beautiful. We did come down. That's fine. We're facing down red histogram bars. As I said, we came to these levels before. Nothing has changed. The only thing that I can say is that the EMAs are in an uptrend. We could get a level of a bounce right into here and then move back up. Why not? Why do we always assume the most bearish scenario, especially when we're in the red? Now, I don't like the amount of histogram bar that we're getting here. As you can see, it's much bigger than the previous. I get it. That's ugly. But this is still not over. So we still got to wait to see what happens in the next little while. And of course, an orange swan event will definitely shake up the market once again. So we got to be very careful here. You can see how neutral this level is. And as I am speaking, the pressure is still being built. Okay, we already surpassed 2 p.m. volatility. And then, of course, 8 p.m. volatility, 7:30, 8 p.m. volatility. When I'm live, guys, join me live at 8 p.m. Guys, that's when the Asia market wakes up, and then we get a response. We start to see some action. And that could be the case where we start to see, the Asia market respond. So I'm going to quickly just, zoom out here a second. I don't even want to get into lower time frames yet, because the truth is what we need to start showing is proof of a reversal right into here, or else, guys, we're coming down. And then big picture, where would we go? Well, we have a lot of support zones to watch out for, like diagonal lines. We can put in diagonals from all the way down here and start looking at diagonal supports from, this legacy trend line. We have a lot of work to do still to come down. We're above many good levels. The 200 exponential moving average on the daily is a great indication of trend. And if I remove all this TA, you'll see what I mean. We're still there. Yes, teetering like we've done before, but every time it's like a toxic relationship. When you're together, you want to get apart, and then you start to want to get back together, and then you come back together, you stay together for a little while, and then bang, you start moving apart. The thing is that if we're in a bull run, we have to maintain over time, we have to maintain the price above the 200 EMA, and that's usually how it works, guys. And these are opportunities to getting some exposure, assuming that the trend is going to continue to be our friend. Of course, there's lots of imbalance right into here. Could we come down to 69k? Guys, who knows? That's possible, but nothing in this chart tells me just yet that we could do one of these. Like I said, one of these, come here, right here, and as I showed you there on the chart, do one of these and then continue to the upside. And like this trend line shows, we can even come down as low as 93k and still respect the trend line from all the way down here. Okay, so guys, there's still a lot of work for the bears to do to get the market in general bearish. I've seen this before. It's better to be neutral. It's better to, just sit on your hands. It's better not to get into risky positions. It's better to do many things than to get absolutely bearish right now. Okay, Bitcoin is in price discovery. Just think about it. All right, guys, if I've offered you any value in this video, do the channel a massive favor. Slap the like button. It does really help out with the algorithm. If you want to follow me on the socials, the links are in the description. Better yet, guys, join the Discord. The Discord is where it's at. Lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, and learning material. The best part is it's absolutely free. Take care, guys. Have a good one. And don't forget, buy the dip.